Hey everyone, it's Mark. It's been 7 weeks since the last episode, but the Pokemon anime is finally back. Today, I'll be reviewing episode 23 of Pokémon Journeys, A Massive Panic, Sakuragi Park. This was the 1108th episode of the Pokemon anime. I thought this episode was pretty good, but really, I was just so excited to be watching a new episode of the anime again. Let's get into the highlights and the review. The episode starts with the narrator describing it as the beginning of another fun day at the Sakuragi Park, as we see Go's Squovette run off. I wonder what it's up to. My biggest complaint about Go as a character is that since he catches so many different Pokemon, we never really get attached to any of them, since we don't see them a lot, if at all. This episode remedied that, as it really spotlighted Go's Pokemon, and we got to see each of them and their own personalities, at least to some extent. For some reason, the only one of Go's Pokemon that didn't appear in this episode was his Execute, which he caught just 2 episodes ago. Anyways, Go and Reboot are going through their daily routine of feeding all of the different Pokemon, while Ash is training with Riolu. Its Vacuum Wave is no match for Mimi's Reflect, but it is working hard. This is the second time we've seen Ash using Mr. Mime for battles, so maybe it really is one of his team members in this series. For some reason, that still doesn't feel quite right to me, but we'll see how much he uses it in the future. We see that many Pokemon are without food, which starts to create conflict between Go's Pokemon. Ash and Go can't seem to figure out what's causing this, and Professor Cerise notices that different Pokemon are forming different communities within the park. It's stuff like this that gives Go's Pokemon at least a little character development, which is very appreciated. In order to figure out what's going on with the food, Ash and Go decide to spend the night in the park and see what's happening. Of course, Ash and his Pokemon fall asleep while they're supposed to be on watch, so they totally miss all of their food getting stolen. I should probably point out that while all of this food drama is going on, Go's 3 Cascoon are all wrapped up between 2 trees, and they all look close to evolving. Meanwhile, the lack of food has caused some violence to break out, as Go's bug types, led by his Scyther, are going at it with some of his other Pokemon, led by his Darmanitan. This fight spills towards the pond next to the Cascoon, and more Pokemon get involved in the brawl. Just before some of Darmanitan's flamethrower accidentally burns the Cascoon, Golurk steps in, protecting them. Unfortunately, this causes the seal on its chest to fall off, which sends it into a frenzy, and causes a near hurricane to start inside the park. This is where the episode gets real interesting, as not only do they need to stop Golurk from going on a rampage, but the Cascoon are suddenly vulnerable as well. Some of Go's Pokemon volunteer to help, so Pikachu and Reboot distract Golurk by hitting it with attacks. Riolu tries to help too, but it's too young to understand that its fighting type moves won't work on a ghost type like Golurk. The plan works, and Golurk calms down. I kind of thought this was going to be a little more difficult, but oh well. The action still isn't over since the weather hasn't calmed down one bit. Just as the trees holding the Cascoon start to get ripped apart, Golurk steps in, followed by Ash's Dragonite. Ash and Go rush in to help as well. I should point out that at this point, Riolu got really scared and was hanging onto Ash so he could keep it safe. Even though we all hope Riolu grows into a powerful Lucario in the future, right now it really is just a baby, and it depends on Ash a lot. The rest of Go's Pokemon put their differences aside, and everyone bands together to help save the Cascoon, who managed to go through with their evolution. Now Dustox, the bug types fly into the sky and use Sunny Day together, clearing up the weather. Even though all the craziness is over, Ash and Go still haven't figured out what's happening with the disappearing food. Just then, they see Go's Squovette stashing it in a cave that it dug, making it the culprit. The show very subtly hinted at this throughout the episode, including making Squovette the Who's That Pokemon. The episode ends with everything going back to normal, at least until Golurk's seal falls off again. Uh-oh. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10 rating. I've seen a lot of people praising the music in this episode, and I agree, the soundtrack was on point. Overall, the plot of this episode was nothing to write home about, since the big reveal of Squovette hiding all the food wasn't a very satisfying ending in my opinion. The dramatic scene with Golurk and the Cascoon was very good though, and it was pretty cool to see all of Go's Pokemon for once. Even though I'd still probably prefer to see Ash's friends have just a few Pokemon, this episode really did give us a good idea of what each of Go's Pokemon are like, and we got to see many of their individual characteristics. His Scyther and Darmanitan are the most aggressive, his Sandile and Misdreavus are tricksters, and many of his Pokemon have formed different groups. All of these little things give each of his Pokemon some character development, and their willingness to work together showed how they really are part of the same team. Oh yeah, we also saw all of Ash's Pokemon in the same episode for once, including Mr. Mime. I'm still really interested in seeing how his Riolu develops. Right now, it kind of reminds me of his Scraggy as a Pokemon who wants to battle and to do its best, but it still has a long way to go. But Ash's training is just what it needs. The next episode will be called Take a Break, Team Rocket. It looks like Team Rocket are getting some mandatory time off, so they're going to stop being villains for an episode. I'm always a fan of the occasional Team Rocket focused episode, so I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next week, even though it kind of looks like a filler episode to me. And that's it for this week. If you made it this far in the video, you'd probably be interested in another video I recently made, where I rank the top 10 worst gym battles that Ash has ever had. Go ahead and click on that video, and remember to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.